Hey everyone, it's Ethan Ormes back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about Major 1. Sorry I didn't get around to making this video yesterday for you guys, and also apologies for my prediction video. I recorded it Friday, and I forgot to fucking publish it, and I never realized till Sunday, I think after the event was over. So I've been really throwing some bad videos out and some bad content on this channel, so I do apologize. But with that being said, we're here for another video. So today, like I said, we are going to be talking about Major 1 and a very fun event that it was. Really awesome, to be fair. So obviously, you know, here we are, Major 1 champs, of course, the New York Subliners. I'm going to copy that image, probably use that as the thumbnail, but shout out to Paco, Hydra, or Wacko, of course. A really great event, and of course some pretty awesome things to note. Shout out to the New York Subliners. Shout out to Sender for getting a chip as a coach again. So yeah, really awesome. Again, the upside for this team is high, and obviously when Preston plays good, or when Priesta plays good, this team can be the best team in the world, evidently. Look, look at this. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to all four of these guys. They all really did their part, in my opinion, and they played very well this weekend. And of course, I never even really realized, but New York made quite a losers bracket run, losing in winners round 2. They then go down to the losers round 2, which they beat Vegas, then they beat Toronto, they beat FaZe, and then they beat Seattle Surge in a best of 7, which I didn't even know was a best of 7 anymore, or now I guess I should say. But yeah, a very close start to the series, 250 to 248 from New York, then 6-4 from New York in the S&D, 3-2 from New York in the control, and then a very close hard point again from the Surge, 250 to 231, and the only map that wasn't even really close was the final map. And like I said, of course, this is a best of 7 now, which I did not know, so that's cool. Priesta didn't even have that great of a final, but obviously, similarly to New York, if the consistency from players like Mac and accuracy aren't there, then they're gonna falter as well. So it's honestly, it's really good that Seattle even made it to the final. Because of course they all had their moments. Even in this series, all of these players had their moments, but again, the inconsistency is still there. But of course, you know what, obviously New York was a much more consistent team in this series, and that obviously is why they won. So are they the best team in the world right now? I mean, it's hard to argue against that, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, on paper, I don't think I would have them as number 1 right now, but it kind of is looking like they are. So let's take a look at an updated KD, or at the updated KDs, I should say. So top 5 right now, Afro at number 5 with a 1.14, then Scrappy with a 1.14 as well in 4th, Skies and Hydra in 3rd and 2nd. So obviously those two are a big reason as to why this New York team is so strong, but obviously Kismet and Priesta are not slouches. But Skies with a 1.15, good enough for 3rd, and then Hydra with a 1.16, good enough for 2nd, and then of course Celium just has this otherworldly KD at a 1.26, so yeah, but let's take a look at some basic stats, and I'm just going to sort by KD. I think it already is, but let's just do this again. So, all right, there we go. So, of course, we took a look at the top 5, but then moving down, Pred with a 1.13, Sib with a 1.13, and actually, I didn't even mention it, but I think a big reason as to why Seattle fell to New York here is Pred. I mean, Pred kind of got shut down some maps, and that's a big reason as to why this team definitely wasn't the strongest team they could have been, in my opinion. Of course, Pred had the least damage from his team, which is very surprising, because normally Pred's in the most engagements, and he was just kind of shut down and quiet in that series for the most part. So let's head back to breaking point real quick. So let's look at some other KD. So attach and temp, both at a 1.1. They're doing very well so far as well. Insight with a 1.09 alongside Asim and Standy. So there are 3 of the 4 Toronto players in the top 10 right now. I think maybe not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in the top 11, there are 3 Toronto players in that top 10. So obviously they're still a very good team. 2 of the Seattle Surge players are in the top 10. 2 of the New York Subliners are in the top 10 as well. And then Scump actually has the highest KD so far in not in S&D, but for Texas, which is interesting as well. There were some really impressive players this weekend. I tweeted out about one, especially Proloot. Was so impressive this weekend. The fact that he has a 0.94 right now is honestly really surprising because he looked really, really great this weekend. He had some absolutely banger moments, and I mean overall, Vegas had a really good event. Of course, it is technically their first event as Vegas. They fall to the eventual winners in the Subliners, but they were able to get out of that, they were able to get past top 8 to get into the top 6, eliminating the Rocker, which was a pretty good series as well. So shout out to Vegas. So that was really cool as well. In the top 4, I don't really think the top 4 is too surprising for the most part. Of course, I'm sure most people would have probably had Texas in there, but I mean, I'd say Atlanta, Seattle, and Toronto aren't really surprising that they were top 4, and I don't think anyone really expected New York to just be this good already, but obviously they are. So, and obviously there's a couple teams that aren't here in this bracket, such as Boston, Texas, LAG, and London. So those are the 4 teams that did not actually make this actual bracket. So yeah, I mean, we could always look back at the schedule, which, let's see, so the Gorillas had gotten eliminated by the Rocker. Of course, the Mutineers eliminated Texas. Who else? LAG Academy eliminated the Ravens, and Vegas eliminated Boston. So obviously Boston hasn't won a series since the M4 GA, so that's kind of surprising, to be fair, as well. So I'm intrigued to see how that will continue to affect them. And yeah, out of curiosity, the worst KD so far right now is Spart with a 0.80. But yeah, of course, 3 of the LAG players all in the bottom 6 isn't very good, and Arcides isn't much higher. The best KD on LAG right now is a 0.95, which obviously is not great as your highest KD. So I would expect that team to get better, though. I'm just surprised that they weren't already better. I just expected them to be a little bit better than what they already are, but let's take a look at CDL points. So very interesting, of course. Obviously, we've got 4 teams technically tied in last with 20 points, but because of wins and losses for series and map count, obviously there is an official order. So London at 12th right now because they have the least map wins. Then Boston at 11th. Where they have less map wins than the Gorillas, but the Gorillas have another series win, so that's why the Gorillas are above the Breach. And then Texas, of course, obviously they have they have more map wins as well. But then Vegas in 8th with 30 points alongside the Mutineers, who also have 30 points, but again, Florida has a better record technically in 4 and 5 rather than 4 and 6. Then the Thieves and Rocker with 40 points to now start the top 6. The top 6 is pretty interesting. LA, Minnesota, Seattle, Atlanta, Toronto, New York. But yeah, both of those teams are at 40 points right now. Then in 4th place, we've got the Surge with 60 points. They are positive. Actually, all of the top 6 teams have a positive record currently. Then Atlanta in third, which is, I feel like, so crazy. I feel like this is the first time, like, ever, basically, that Atlanta hasn't been in first in the standings. So yeah, they have a good record as well, 6-4 so far. Then Toronto 6-3, and then of course the Subliners 9-3, leading the league right now. So that's pretty cool. Now, really quickly, I would like to take a look at some notifications here because Brian's stats is really cool. Puts out some really cool Call of Duty stats. I actually don't follow him, so I'm going to right now. But this is a really cool one that I seen earlier today. Current 1 KD or higher tournament streak after Major 1. So these are the top 10, I think. So Abeezy and Havoc currently at 3 in a row. Sib with 4. Skies, Octane, and Attach with 5. Pred with 7. Hydra with 11, which means I don't think Hydra has had a negative series in his career yet. And then Selim and Dashi at 13. And I'd seen a tweet here. Dashi and Cell is less impressive than Hydra and Pred, which I absolutely agree. Of course, being a sub is way harder than being a stay-at-home AR. Also, Awakening did not hit the 1 KD this event, so his streak was broken. And then, I didn't know this, but Scump had 47 straight events where he got a 1 KD or higher in a row, which is insane. And yeah, he had mentioned that this will probably never get touched. If anyone ever does touch it, I would imagine it would probably be Celium, but I guess you never know. So yeah, really cool there. I do want to take a look at his stats again because I seen he like just tweeted out something before I started this video. So yeah, highest grand final KDs, which was cool. None of them are very recent, to be fair. Let me see, was there... Oh, yes, this was one that I'd seen as well. So the Subliners have now passed Optic / the Chicago Huntsmen, the Toronto Ultra, and the Florida Mutineers in finals appearances in the CDL era. So Mutineers, Ultra, and Optic / Huntsmen at 4, Subliners at 5, Empire at 7, and of course Atlanta at 16. Now, I haven't updated this stuff yet, but this is my CDL stat sheet, I guess. So again, I haven't updated it yet, but yeah, Major 1 winners, of course, are going to be the Subliners, which I can edit this actually to make it 4-1. But yeah, I have pretty much everything in here, so you know, you can take a look at everything which you guys can actually access this in my bio if you guys wanted, or not my bio, sorry, my description if you guys wanted to. So yeah, Subliners now with 5 grand finals appearances. See, I have Atlanta with 16. But yeah, Subliners will now be at 5. Of course, their record will go up again. I haven't updated this since the start of this year's season in CDL 2023, so I don't have any information so far for Modern Warfare 2, but I'm going to work on that tonight. I gotta get better at keeping this updated throughout the week, and of course I added Vegas Legion, but I haven't actually started anything yet. So yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna be everything, really. I feel like I talked about everything I wanted to in this video, so that's really cool. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.